Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Crowd Share Podcast. And today we have our NFL picks for week two. We had opening week last week, and now we're getting into week two. I'm not going to take too much time with this. You know how these work. We just pick all the games straight up. So here we go. We already had our picks for the first week. Um, so I'll actually go over who we took. Of course, this game already happened. I'm doing this on a Friday, so unfortunately, I was not able to get this done earlier. Obviously, we all work different schedules, so it's a little hard for us to all, get on the same page and actually be available at the same time. We just don't really have that necessarily that ability right now. Um, Me and Sam both took Washington. Serbenski ended up going with Green Bay. So he starts off the week 1-0. Me and Sam both start 0-1. So that's nice. Moving on to our other picks for this week. First, we start with the Jacksonville Jaguars going on the road, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, I'm not really much of a believer in Cincinnati. I'm sorry, in Jacksonville. Neither of these teams. I don't. Cincinnati doesn't have a defense, but the Jags are just really not that good of a team in general. So I'll take the Bengals to win this one. They are at home. I think they're just a little bit better than Jacksonville is. So I'll go with Cincinnati here. That is the consensus as well. We all have Cincinnati with the win over Jacksonville. I am going to do this a bit of snake style, so I'll start with Sam's pick here, which will be for the New York Giants going on the road to take on the Dallas Cowboys. He has Dallas winning this one. I kind of figure all of us will have that one. Yes, Serbenski also has the Cowboys. I do as well. The Giants just don't have their offense is a nightmare. They have a good defensive front at least, and they have some good defensive players, but that offense is just that's a yikes. And I don't know if they really can overcome the poor offense in this one. I think Dallas gets the win, especially at home. I think the Cowboys have the edge. Then we have the Bears going on the road to take on our very own Detroit Lions. Yeah, well, week one was not pretty. This is the return of Ben Johnson. I was the only one to actually take the Lions to lose last week. Um, I didn't think it would be that bad, but it was. It was not a pretty look. I this it was not good for us. Obviously, um, the hope here though for me because I look at this. Um, the Bears offensive line or the Bear D line. Our problem in the Green Bay game was we were getting dominated in the line of scrimmage. Green Bay's defensive line was having their way with our O line, and we couldn't do anything to stop them. So that was the biggest issue for the Lions was just trying to protect Goff and create running room. We just didn't have that all night. So I think they'll be a little bit. I think they'll be a little bit better this week because the Bears' defensive front is not nearly the same as Green Bay's. The Bear offense is pretty good, and they'll put up some points, but I think the Lions are capable of doing the same. I give them the win here. This is more so just a very loud hope, very loud prayer that we do this. Because if we don't win this game, we will start the year 0-3 because we are not beating Baltimore in week three. Hint, hint, I am not taking the Lions to beat the Baltimore Ravens. I wouldn't be shocked if that game ended up being 50-0. Like, no, we are not beating Lamar Jackson. No, I'm sorry. I'm not picking. I am not picking the Lions for that game. We will get absolutely curb stomped. That will not go well. But we have to win this one, though. If we don't, obviously, could be a rough start. But I will give the Lions a win here. Next, we have the LA Rams going on the road, taking on the Tennessee Titans. I believe the consensus is the Rams on this one. That is correct. So spoiler alert. Yeah, I'm taking the Rams too. Legitimately, I do think the Titans will get better as the year progresses, but this is week 2 of Cam Ward. I, he is a good player and all. Don't get me wrong. But and I'm sure that Tennessee will be a candidate for some upsets later in the year. But just right now, I think you need some more time for Cam Ward to adjust to NFL life before we really get to that stage. New England Patriots going on the road to take on the Miami Dolphins. I ain't touching the Dolphins with a 10-foot pole. They just got absolutely destroyed by Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. That's all I need to know. This is not a good team. Give me New England all the way. Uh, let's see. Sam has the Patriots. Serbinsky actually took the Dolphins to win this one. So um, second time now, actually, technically, that we are differing here. Uh, Serensky going with the Finns, and Sam's with me. He's got New England winning this one. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints going, or I'm sorry, the San Francisco 49ers going on the road to take on the Saints. Uh, wow, Sam took the Saints. Okay. I can see it honestly. And Serbinsky, he went with San Francisco. He took the 49ers. So you can tell what my pick is. I'm taking San Francisco. I did actually debate taking New Orleans in this game, mostly because San Francisco has a large amount of injuries again already. No Brock Purdy for this game. No George Kittle. Of course, still no Brandon Ayuk. So they're already missing a lot of guys. But we've seen time and time again Kyle Shanahan work with just any random QB. And I know this time, you kind of think, geez, Mac Jones the starter, really? But Kyle Shanahan, he's an offensive wizard. We've seen him do it before. I think he'll do it again. This is also a really just bad Saints team. I think that the Niners, even with a bit of a hampered team due to injuries, are better anyway. So I'll take San Francisco in this one. The Buffalo Bills going on the road to take on the New York Jets. I debated the Jets in this one as well. My only issue is the Bills own a man known as Josh Allen. I love Aaron Glenn. I think the Jets will be a good team this year, especially after seeing last week. They looked really impressive offensively, defensively, maybe a little lackluster, but I think the Jets certainly have the chance to have a really good season. This is not a. This will be a tough one for them. I think the Bills get the win, and they get the win on the road. Uh, Going with Sam, they both took the Bills, so it is a consensus across the board. Buffalo Bills get the win over the New York Jets. Seattle Seahawks go on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Serbinsky and Sam both took the Steelers to win this game. So across the board, it will be a consensus. Pittsburgh Steelers over Seattle. I have said it before. I will say it again. I have zero belief in the Sam Darnold led Seattle Seahawks. I think that was a horrible move for Seattle. That was not smart. I think that will bite them in the butt at the end of the year and not go well for them. I will take the Steelers to win this one and get the win on the road. I did adjust that, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Um, and then next up here we have the Cleveland Browns going on the road taking on the Baltimore Ravens. I think we're all going to just be taking the Ravens here in this one. Yeah, we're all taking Ravens here. It's the Browns. Yeah, they choked away the Bills. Yes, Baltimore choked away the Bills game. Yes, it was not pretty. Yes, it was bad. Uh, Cleveland's a bad team. Let's just let's be real. This is not a good team. They should absolutely obliterate Cleveland in this one. It should not be close. Next, we have the Denver Broncos going on the road to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Sam is taking the Indy Colts to win this one at home. Colts with the huge win, of course, over the Miami Dolphins, absolutely destroying them. And then Serbinsky has the Broncos. Serbinsky is going with Denver to win this one. I'm going with the Broncos here. I think that the Colt win last week is more indicative of the Dolphins than it really is the Colts. I think it's more so the Dolphins are just really that bad, as opposed to the Colts are actually that good. So that's just personally what I think. Denver's offense, I understand, did not look all that impressive last week. They were a little lackluster against the Titans, but the Denver offense or Denver defense, excuse me, might be the best one in the NFL. I am really high on that defense. I think they're absolutely incredible. Offense, obviously, you got pieces here and there. They just need to produce enough offense to win. I think they'll make. I think they'll manage that. They get the win over the Indy Colts. Carolina Panthers going on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. I don't really have much to really say here, other than I think Arizona's just a slightly better team. Uh, Nothing necessarily that the Panthers have done. I just think Arizona is a slightly better team, and they have slightly more talent than Carolina does. I mean, they made it close against the Saints on the road last week. They'll be at home for this one. I think Arizona has a slight edge here. Philadelphia Eagles going on the road to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. I know this is the one that everybody's been waiting for. It's the Super Bowl rematch. Yes, we have this game back. It is a Super Bowl rematch game. Uh, Everyone's going to be obviously extremely stoked to see this one and see this one through. Um, with that being said, going for what Sam has first. Sam has the Chiefs winning at home. So after the loss in Brazil against the Chargers, he does have the Chiefs bouncing back and getting revenge for the Super Bowl last year. Serbensky has the Eagles. Serbensky is going with the defending Super Bowl champions to beat Kansas City yet again, on this time on the road in Arrowhead. I am with Serbensky here. I am taking the the Philadelphia Eagles to get the win on the road uh, against the KC Chiefs. No Xavier Worthy for this game. Obviously, he got absolutely clotheslined by Travis Kelsey down in Brazil. Um, so that obviously does create a bit of an issue. Um, and you also are still without Rasheed Rice due to the suspension, so you're missing a lot of guys uh, for for Mahomes to throw to, and of course you also. The Eagles, I think, have so many good players. Jalen Carter will be back, of course, for him this week. He did not necessarily get suspended because technically he was suspended for the Dallas game they just went with. That was unique. Anyways, I'll go with the Eagles here. I just think that the Eagles have a bit more in the tank. I think they're just a slightly better team. This is an Arrowhead, which will make it difficult for Philadelphia, and I think that Chief defense will make things hard for Philadelphia. But I also think the Eagles have a great defense themselves. They'll hold their own. They'll win on the road. Atlanta Falcons on the road taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Call this Michigan bias and me just loving J.J. McCarthy, but if he plays like he did in that fourth quarter against the Chicago Bears, there ain't a single team on the planet that's beating Minnesota this year. I talked about how Denver's defense was the best in the league. I think the Viking defense is right behind them. They have a great defense in their own right. They have outstanding player. They have an outstanding offense. Guys like Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason running the running back room, and then you go beyond that, you've got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, J.J. McCarthy, of course, the QB, T.J. Hawkinson. I mean, you've got weapons galore on the offensive end with a great defense to back it up. If J.J. plays like he did in the fourth quarter, the Vikings will be a certified problem for the NFC. With that all being said, I have the Vikings beating the Falcons this week. Even if JJ doesn't necessarily repeat the fourth quarter, I still think they'll beat the Falcons. I just think the Vikings are overall a better team. Serbensky and Sam are both going with the Vikings to win this one as well. Might as well just copy the one I just did. Whoops, nope, that's not what I meant. But they're both taking the Vikings to win this one as well. So we all have Minnesota at home on Sunday Night Football. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road to take on the Houston Texans. What in the world? Why is that still there? That's weird. Anyway, apparently how did that not get erased? Oh, and that's okay. Anyway, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have two Monday night games this week. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road to take on the Houston Texans. This is the first Monday night game. I'm sorry, I'm on Sam here. Sam has the Houston Texans winning this one, and so yeah, different opinions here. Sam's going with Houston here, and Serbensky is going with Tampa Bay. Oh god, it's on his too. He's going with Tampa Bay to win this one, and getting the win over the Houston Texans. If you guys wonder how I make these stat sheets, you might remember this score if you're watching last year. That this was the Philly Eagle Atlanta Falcon game. I do record all this stuff on here and keep track of our records and stuff, but for whatever reason it didn't erase, and I put the new ones in. That's strange. Oh, but it did for mine. That's really weird. Anyway. Serensky has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this one. Me, I am along the lines of Sam. I have the Houston Texans winning here. Tampa is a very offensively minded team. Their defense is not that special, but they really love to score. Of course, you have their offense has been a well-oiled machine for years. Houston is also a very good defensive team. Among the top defensive units with the Vikings and the Broncos and whatnot. Houston's got some really good players on the defensive end. On offense, their main question is, will their offensive line not let C.J. Stroud get killed? As long as that doesn't happen, I think that the Texans will be in business. But obviously, that does remain to be seen. But I do have the Houston Texans winning this one. I just think that the Houston defense will shut down Tampa, or at least shut them down enough where they can win the game. Next, we have the LA Chargers going on the road to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. This will be really late at night for me. This will be 10 o'clock. I don't know how long I'll be able to stay up to watch this one. But I'll try. But Chargers and Raiders. Chargers looked awesome last week. They had an outstanding game against the Kansas City Chiefs, finally beating them. They had to feel good for LA. As for the Raiders, they had a nice one on the road against the New England Patriots. I'm going with the Chargers to win this one. I've said it before. I don't really think the Raiders. There's a lot of hype around the Raiders, and they're gonna be great. Now they got Pete Carroll. No, I've said this before. I don't believe in Ashton Genty. Everybody loves that guy. I don't see it. But I've got the Chargers winning this one. That is the consensus for this one. We all have the LA Chargers getting the win here, and that is it for this week. It's starting to get dark. I should end this video. I hope you guys, excuse me. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be seeing you guys next week for more NFL and college videos. I have more stuff coming out as well. We only got few more weeks until the MLB season, regular season, comes to a close. And we'll, of course, have our playoff picks for that. NBA basketball coming up. I'm sure I'll have to confer with Serbenski. Maybe we can get some videos going with him. That's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Until then, adios, everyone.